I'm Derek Thompson. My wife and I here, Regina, we have a nonprofit organization based here in Clark County called Hands of Favor. And we serve Clark County, Washington County, Multnomah County, and Clackamas County. The first thing I want people to know about me is that I care. Seriously, I care. I love people.
And what I like to do, I like to just talk to a lot of people that are hurting, um, people that are in distress, um, just people in general.
We're helpers. That's what we are. We like to help people. That just brought me up. I just want to throw this in right quick, if I may. A real interesting thing. My wife and I have been together going on 50 years, and a long time ago, we realized in conversation that even though we were different, because my wife here, if I may say, she was good at two shoes, and I was a really, really bad boy. But we recognized one thing about us that we realized that when we were kids, here I go, we always stood up for the underdog.
Yeah.
And God, even though we didn't know it then, God has brought us to a place where now He has us not just standing up for the underdog, but championing for the underdog. That's pretty awesome to me.
And we treated people that other people might didn't like because they might have dressed differently. They weren't caught up on the style, but as a person, not, you know, not caring what nationality they were, but just to make them feel good and to lift them up. And it all started when I was younger because they didn't really call it bullying back then, but basically that's what it was. And people used to approach me and say, "Why you talk to this person, that person?" And sometimes I wanted to say, "Why am I talking to you?" But you know,
I'm from Galveston, Texas. Grew up in Portland area, Northeast area. Went to Highland School, then went to Benson High School. My wife went to Jefferson though, and I don't know. My life, I've had a very, very interesting life. If I may say, I'm 69 years old. I feel like I've lived as much as any 83-year-old or 85-year-old man just for my life's experiences. Um, I left home at 15 and just to strike it on my own. I was a rebellious teen and a rebellious young person, didn't want people telling me what to do. Um, and that's interesting to say too. Just to help people get to know a little bit about me. I haven't always been the person that I am. I was a totally different person than I am now. I spent just a little bit of time in the Navy. I grew up in a really, really good household, and that's where the thing that I said is going to be a surprise because as I look at it, guess what? We talk about white privilege. I think I grew up privileged, not financially, but I grew up privileged because I grew up in a house full of love. And that's when I look back at that and I think about it. And still, we were three boys and three girls, and my mother and my father and my grandmother most of the time, my maternal grandmother most of the time, and there was nothing but love and laughter in our homes. When I was growing up, I don't know how many people looking at this, but I'm sure there's a lot that will be. That will recognize this. 15th and Fremont in Portland. Our people, black people, were not, did not, there wasn't like barricades or anything, but it was an unwritten rule because we learned it from our parents who learned it from theirs, who learned it from those in charge. We don't go past 15th Avenue East in Portland. We didn't go south past Broadway in Portland. We didn't go past Columbia, basically because there wasn't anything past there except Frankie's, that cool store. Remember that? Um, and I'm talking about when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. I'll say it like this: when I was in the eighth grade, my family was the second family that we knew that's on record. And if anybody has anything different, I'd love for them to come and let us know. that moved beyond 15th. We moved to 29th and Alameda, which is a rather nice area. Don't know how my parents ever got there because we've never been rich or anything like that. But it was a nice and affluent area. I was a 1,000 student, the first black student in the 1,000 student. And it was like this. Kids, even from the first day, would come up to me to touch me. And touch my hair to see if I felt like them. That's a shame that we have to grow up in. They did it innocently, but the point isn't whether it's innocent or not. The point is it's innocent because it came from somewhere. That's the kind of Portland I grew up
Um, I grew up in Portland also. Basically, um, my mom raised my brother and I, and also my great uncle. He was like my father. Now, when I grew up, things were really strict for me. I couldn't go. He talking about Derek said he couldn't go past certain. I could barely go around the corner. My uncle was really, really strict. And as far as, and plus, when I was growing up, it was like my brother is the oldest. When it came to me, it was hush hush. You couldn't really ask questions. You asked question, I always got told, "You're too young to know. You're too young to know." But I just found out things on my own because I got tired of them telling her that. My mom, she loved us, but my mom gave us tough love. She didn't play. She would, tell it like it is. You ask her a question, she'll tell you straight up, give you a, straight up answer. Um, I was very restricted from a whole lot of things. Um, it's a lot as far as in our neighborhood, that's all I knew. As far as other things like, um, of course, we were called, in school, those the N word, but my mom told me because I used to fight a lot, and she would ask me, "Why are you fighting?" And I said, "Well, they call me the N word." And she said, "You know what that means?" I said, "Yeah, I know what it means." And then she asked me, and I told her. She said, "That means ignorant." So the person that called you that, they're one too, because they're ignorant. But I went to, I went to Humble Elementary School. No, I started at Boise in Portland, and then they built new school, Humble. I went there, and then I got transferred over to Irvington Elementary School, and then I graduated from Jefferson, went back to Jefferson.
I lived near a park, Irving Park, and that was a real popular park for all of us back in the day. Basketball, concerts, and just fun. People hanging out, and that's
Hmm.
what they did. It was fun, and people hung out. No problems when you're in that area at that park. A lot of fun, and I lived through the alley there, and well, my parents did. I didn't because like I said, I moved out, but I go back over there a lot of times. And my brother, my younger brother, who was my best buddy and still is, was over there, and I walked in one day and he was on the phone. And he's upside down, on the floor like teenagers and everything, talking on the phone. I figured, oh wow, he found him someone. And I came in a few times. She doesn't let me tell this story, but I'm not going to tell the part you'll like. Okay. and then I don't know. One day my brother and I were going just to have fun, and he decided to pick up his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend this was with her cousin, and her cousin happened to be her, and the rest is history. I liked her smile. I liked her laugh because I love laughter. And the smile always gets me, no matter whether it's a man, a woman, a kid, or whatever, even a dog, a smile gets me. And that's how we met. Um, but I just like to throw this kind of a piece of comedy in there. It's not really comedy, but I think it's cute because now I think it's cute because I was very afraid to ask her to be my girlfriend. But I called her one day and said, I need to meet you in the park. I want to talk to you. And she came over there and I found some corny words to say or something. I don't know what I said. But anyway, and I asked her to be my girlfriend or whatever I asked you. I asked her. And I was fully expecting her to say no. And she said yes. But now I'm going to say something that's cheery, and she might not remember this. I told her, and I told her this based on what my mother and grandmother always told me about women. They said, don't lie. They said, because even if it hurts them, they know where you stand and they know where they stand. And I said to her, I don't think we'll be together more than 6 months. Why I said that? Because I never had girlfriends because I didn't have time for girlfriends, but she got to my heart, and it wasn't until quite a bit later in my life that she said, we were talking about one day, and she said to me, I had other plans for you. That means a lot. That means a lot. I love you, baby.
Oh.
I just want to throw that in there, though.
When I met Derek, he caught my eye, and he was always funny. He was like a comedian. He had me laughing all the time. When we went out, we had fun, because in the beginning, like he said, I never thought that we would hook up. I used to call him my big brother, and he he's just a comedian. So when he said that he had me meet him in the park, he asked me to be his girl, lady, whatever the case might be. Usually I talk all the time, and actually I got speechless. I didn't answer right away because there was a lot of women that liked him. I didn't know till later on that they were just friends. But so when he told me that he had something to talk to me about, I'm thinking he was going to tell me, well, I got this lady and, we're going to have to just cut it off. I even told one of my female friends when I told her I was going over there, and I said, I thought, because with Derek, you never know what he's going to say. And I told my best friend, I said, oh, I know he's going to tell me, we're going to have to break it off or whatever. So he really shocked me because I
That's
was
funny.
not expecting that at all. And then, at first I was kind of leery because I'm thinking, all this fun we have, and I thought it would change. But it didn't. It didn't.
That's funny.
Mm.
That's funny. Right now, years ago, in the late '70s and the early '80s, my wife and I worked for Nike. Matter of fact, we worked for Nike before it was Nike. It was Blue Ribbon Sports. Because we want people not just to know what racism feels like, but even until you know what really is going on within your own self. And it was about 5:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden, I was on the freeway, and all of a sudden, there were like 20 or 25 police cars from every direction. I hate those things. She hates those things. Guess what? We hate those things because we shouldn't have to even talk about that color.